Hi everybody, I hope you're having a great day today. I'm Chef Tucker, and today I want to go ahead and go over a follower request, which is for a risotto. In this instance, we're going to be making a mushroom, leek, and chicken risotto. So it's a very simple dish, just takes a little bit of know-how, which hopefully by the end of this you guys will be well equipped for, and it takes a decent amount of time. It's not really a quick method. So with all that being said, let's take a look at our mise en place so we can get into it. We have shallots, garlic, mushrooms, leeks, thyme, arborio rice, which makes up our risotto. We have white wine, butter, chicken stock or broth, use whichever you have, and some Parmesan cheese. And like I said, this is not overly complicated, but it is going to be taking us a while, so let's go ahead and head over to the stove and get started. All right, so we're going to start by adding just a little bit of oil to the pan. Have it on a low heat, ready to go. All right, the first thing we're going to add is our shallots. Once those get just a little bit soft, so I'm going to add my mushrooms, my leeks, and my garlic. Alright, we're just going to go ahead and let this come back up to heat a little bit, just until the mushrooms start to get a little bit soft, get a little bit of color, but not much. We're not looking for much color on this dish. I'm sorry, I got a big breath of onions and mushrooms in my nostrils. Whew, it smells so good. But we're just looking for everything to kind of wilt down just a little bit, and then we're going to move on to our next step. So we'll go ahead and time jump you, and I'll see you in just a second. Okay, so it's been about 5 minutes, and as you can see, our leeks and mushroom have cooked down a little bit. Now, if you want to, you could take it a little bit farther until it caramelized, but I'm not looking to do that at the moment. Again, it's kind of a personal preference. But what we're going to do now is deglaze with some wine. If there's anything to deglaze. All right. So now we're going to reduce this down some, just to where it cooks mostly out. And then we're going to come back and put in our rice and our chicken broth to actually get started on the risotto process. So we'll go ahead and time jump one more time. I'll see you guys in a moment. Alright, so our liquid is almost gone. I'm going to add some butter to it. Melt that down. Right now we got the smell of wine, mushrooms, onions, shallots, garlic, and butter. That in itself is a thing of beauty. Alright, so now the butter is all completely melted. That's when we're going to go ahead and stick our rice in. And we're going to just stir it around for a few minutes just to get all of it coated in that butter and that flavor that we already have established in our pan. Want all of those little grains of rice to get as much little glistening on them from the butter and the pan sauce that we've made so far. All right, let's take a look. So as you can see, each one's kind of shiny just because it's coated in butter. That is what we're looking for. Going to toast it up just a little bit to get a little bit of a nutty aroma going. Not much. All right. And we have reached nuttiness. Lots of nuttiness. So what we're going to start doing is we're going to start adding our chicken stock. And essentially what it's going to be is 1 or 2 ladles at a time. Now, one thing to remember when you're doing this, risotto is more of a method than it is an actual dish. And how you go about it is, and this is where when I said earlier, this is where the love comes in, is you have your liquid in there, just enough to where everything's floating in there, but not a huge amount. And then you stir to keep it moving about, keep all those rice grains cooking evenly, and then you just add a little bit more in whenever the liquid starts to get kind of low and it gets almost dry in there. Now, arborio rice is a short grain rice, which means it's got a lot of starch content to it, and that's what makes the risotto creamy. It's not an actual cream that goes in there. But in order to get it to make that creaminess, and you can kind of see it, it's kind of difficult, is it takes a slow process of adding a little bit of liquid, stirring and stirring and stirring, adding a little bit of liquid, stirring and stirring and stirring until the rice is done. So we'll just go ahead and do a couple of quick cuts, but the main thing you got to remember is to add some chicken stock and stir it in. And then you add a little bit more to stir it in. You don't want too much in the pot at one time, just because then it'll start to boil. You're just looking for it to slowly absorb that chicken stock. And that's part of the secret. Alright, so I'll see you guys in just a minute. Alright, so our risotto's underway. I'm going to go ahead and add my thyme, just so we get that nice herb flavor cooking throughout and mixing in. I promise, guys, nothing smells better than mushrooms, onions, garlic, and thyme all in a pot with some butter. The aromatics of this dish are huge. So, like you see how you kind of separate it and it takes it a second to move back in? The broth is almost gone, the stock in the broth is almost gone, so we add a little bit more in. Alright, so like I said, you pull it apart and it kind of just comes back together, but it's not like liquidy oozing in together. Just add a little bit at a time and stir. like I said, this is a dish that you make for people that you love, because otherwise I don't know why you'd want to stand over the stove for as long as you have to. But if you're that person that you love because you love risotto, then it's a time and energy well spent. Again, just a never-ending cycle to build up that starch, to make it nice and rich and creamy, of adding liquid, stirring it around, not mashing it or anything, just kind of moving it so it doesn't settle too much in one spot. And then letting the rice absorb the liquid. All right, guys, we're getting really close on this. Now, one of the reasons that you have a large pot of stock and broth, is you need it to be warm at least, if not a little bit on the hot side. That way when you put it in here, it's not shocking your rice and cooling it back down, messing up the process. So for the amount that I'm using here, just follow what I have in the directions, but just have a pot on the stove top like this, and just add it, like I said, 1 or 2 ladles at a time. See how this has grown, almost doubled in size? It's not quite there yet, but it's slowly feeling back in, so it's almost at that point. Now, when you're stirring, when you're stirring, you don't want to swish it about, because that might break the rice up, and it's not really going to hurt anything at the end, but it's not, I guess you'd say, the right way to do it. The main thing is you're just trying to make sure it doesn't stick to the bottom. So all you're doing is just moving it around, making sure all of it gets hot, making sure all of it absorbs that liquid. And we only have probably just a few more minutes left on it, because I'm looking at it and it's pretty much to the point where we're stopping, and I will show you guys in just a moment how you can tell when you're at the stopping point. All right, so I'm doing one more ladle, but that's probably all it's going to need. Our risotto is just about done. See how it's sticking together, very nice, coming together. We're going to go ahead and finish with our seasoning. Salt and pepper. Now, how you can tell the risotto is done is when the rice grain, when you first start off, it's completely white. And as it starts to cook and as the risotto absorbs the liquid, that white area gets smaller and smaller to where it's clear on the outside. When you have just a little bitty dot left on the inside, and it still has that al dente tooth bite to it, that's when you know that you're in the right spot, and that's where you need to stop. It's kind of hard to see with this one, but it still has a little bit of white left in the middle and a little bit of clear all around. And if you break it, it has a little bit of crunch to it, but not like a very strong crunch, more just like a firmness to it. All right. So we're going to add our Parmesan cheese. And once that's completely mixed in and incorporated, we're ready to eat. So we'll roll some footage of me doing the chicken breasts, and I'll see you guys back at the counter. All right, everybody, so our risotto is done. It's beautiful. It's got all the colors I'm looking for, which, you know, has the pops of green, the mushrooms. It's got that nice look of creaminess to it. So now all we gotta do is give it a taste and see where we're at. It's creamy. It's got a nice tooth bite to it. It's got a sweetness from the leeks. It's got that earthiness from the mushroom. I know I put chicken breast on this, but honestly, guys, if you're okay with it, it doesn't need chicken breast. I'll put that down for right now. It's not a difficult dish. It's very flexible. You can add different vegetables, different broths to make it your own. You can experiment with it. It just takes time, and it is a labor of love. But the end product can't be argued with. So I hope you guys get to try this. If you like what I did here and you found it educational or at least entertaining, make sure you hit like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. You know, it helps me grow, and I appreciate it. But until next time, thank you for cooking with me.